morning, everyone, and welcome to your Morning Mojo, a short video podcast going over motivational topics for health and wellness while enjoying a good cup of coffee. So grab your coffee and let's get started. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 2 of the Morning Mojo. Hope you guys have a good cup of coffee in your hands and ready to talk about a different topic. So today what we're going to be talking about is going to be nutrition. The all-inspiring, everyone has an opinion, what is the best thing to do for nutrition? So if any of you have ever been around a bookstore and you go and you look over in the shelves, you'll notice that there's this whole section on health and wellness, and about 70% of that section is going to be dealing with nutrition. And not only that, you're going to look through it and it doesn't seem like there is a consensus of, well, what should I be eating? How much should I be eating? When should I be eating? All of these things seem to be kind of just all over the place. I mean, think about it. How many different types of diets can you name off the top of your head? So I can just go ahead and you have high fat, low carb. You have low fat, high carb. You have high protein, low carb. You have intermittent fasting. You have 1 meal a day. You have the ketogenic diet. You have vegetarians. You have vegans. You have carnivore diet. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's all of these different, for lack of better terms, nutrition plans that are out there for us to consume. Well, with all of this information, it can seem a little overwhelming. And we can seem like, which one of these should I even attempt to try? So what I want to talk about today is nutrition. Is it really that complicated? The biggest thing I want you guys to take away from this is, first of all, I am not a certified nutritionist. Now, I have taken the Precision Nutrition Coaching course and passed it, and I'm a certified precision nutrition coach. However, I didn't go to school to become a registered dietitian or anything like that. So take it with that in mind. However, I'm not going to come at you today with this is the all-inspiring thing you should be doing. Because just like there are different ways for each of us to lose weight, gain muscle mass, become healthier, live better, there are also different nutrition plans that work for different people. Everybody is going to be a little bit different. So, for example, you guys probably know someone that's in your family or a close friend group who's used the ketogenic diet, and they had great results with the ketogenic diet. They lost a lot of weight, they look great, having a good time. You probably tried the ketogenic diet once they started it, and you probably didn't get the exact same results. You may also have a friend who's a vegetarian who gets great results. But when you tried vegetarian, you felt a little tired, a little lazy or lackadaisical. And you might have somebody who's gone real crazy and they've done the carnivore diet, which is considered probably one of the craziest diets out there at the moment. And they felt wonderful, they felt great, but then you try it and you got some intestinal issues going on, you got some other things like that that's happening whenever you try it. The key that you're having to see here between all of those examples is that what worked for the friend groups or the family members that you know is not necessarily going to work for you. So how do you know what works? Well, the best thing to do is to become your own mad scientist. Your job when you are looking into what nutrition plan is going to work for you is to try a nutrition plan, see if it works. If it works, stick with it. If it doesn't, move on. When I say try, though, I don't mean for 7 days. You need to, for most of these meal plans or most of these nutrition plans, for them to work for you, you have to try them for in upwards of 21 to 90 days before you start to see any type of results. Okay? So it's important that no matter what you're picking with nutrition, that you go for it. So let me talk to you how I, at Artisan CrossFit, prescribe our nutrition plan and how we try to make it a little bit simpler to follow. So the first thing, how many of you have gone into a gym walked up to the desk, I want to start a nutrition plan. And the first thing that the coach does for you is they hand you this list of what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat. Almost like a good, bad list, right? So like, these foods are good, these foods are bad. Stay away from the bad foods, eat more of the good foods. Well, the problem with that is that as soon as you do that, you are demonizing food. If you demonize food, then what that does for you is it makes it a bad experience. If it makes it a bad experience, or even worse, if it gives you that idea of like, oh, that's a bad thing, but I really want it, you will eventually succumb to that temptation. Like, we all know a chocolate bar is not the best thing for us to be eating. However, every now and then, we all want a chocolate bar. And so, telling ourselves mentally, that is bad, that is bad, that is bad, doesn't really seem to work whenever we're looking at food itself. So instead, what we do here at Artisan is we look at food in what I like to call the traffic light scenario, okay? You have food groups or foods in each food group, so protein, carbs, and fats, that are what we call green light foods. These green light foods are foods that you can eat all the time, anytime, no matter what. They're great food sources for lean protein, for example, or for good carbohydrate sources, or good fat sources, or vegetables, which are basically endless, the amount of different types of vegetables you can eat. They're great vegetable sources, right? These are your green lights. These are the ones you want more of in your diet. Then we have what you call the yellow light, or what you can also call like eat some, okay? Now this grouping in the middle is kind of like you. Every now and then, you probably would go through a yellow light. Like, you're not gonna sit there and every yellow light you see is like, oh, press the brake, I must stop. And if you do, I commend you for doing that. That's great. However, for most of us when we're driving, especially if we have somewhere we have to be, we are going to push through that yellow light, right? So with these eat some foods, what we're trying to do here is we're gonna eat them every now and then. They're not the worst possible things for us, but they're not the best either. So you can have some of them, but not a ton of them. Now, that leads us to the last group. So you had the green, the yellow, and the last thing of the traffic light, which is the red. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you that you need to tell me all of your traffic violations that you've ever had. However, everybody watching this video has ran a red light before. It happens, sometimes by accident, sometimes by accident, we will run the red light. The same thing with foods. You are going to have foods that you need to eat less of. Now, that doesn't always mean sugary foods. It could mean sugary foods, starchy carbs. It could even be like alcoholic beverages or lactose, like someone that's lactose intolerant needs to stay away from milk products, things like that, right? There are these foods that we need to eat less of. That doesn't mean that we have to demonize those food choices though. You can go to your friend's birthday party and eat a slice of birthday cake, and you shouldn't feel like your whole diet is in a whirlwind and that you have to start all over. That's not what it should come to. If you focus on eating green, yellow most of the time, if not all of the time, and then every now and then eating some of the red food, then you will notice a humongous change in your body. Now, the second thing that'll happen when you go to a gym and they're looking at you for a nutrition plan is they're gonna say, good, bad, and the next thing is, here's how you weigh your food. For the average everyday person, having to sit there and weigh your food becomes more of a hassle than it does an actual advantage. And one of the things that I really enjoyed about the Precision Nutrition course whenever I took it is that it really came to a place of, hey, the average person doesn't need to measure their food with actual weighing of the food. We can use our hand. Okay, so here at Artisan, we've started this. We started using our hand, palm for the protein, fist for the vegetables, cupped hand for the carbs, and then the thumb for the fats. And it's become very easy for our members to be able to really follow this nutrition of like, okay, I can look at my plate and then I can sit there and put my hand and kind of move it around. I have enough, or, oh, I might need some more protein. It's not quite a full palm, or whatever it may be. So it makes everything just a little bit easier. And that is the biggest thing that I want to go over for today. The nutrition plan that works for you is the one that is easy for you to follow. And I don't mean easy as in you're gonna eat whatever you want, whenever you want, and do whatever you want. That's not the easy I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is if it is easy for you to eat vegetarian and you can stick with eating vegetarian, you should stick and eat with vegetarian. If you're someone who needs more of a balanced diet, you really enjoy eating lean meats and you enjoy eating, certain things that maybe the vegetarians can't eat, then of course you're going to eat that. If you're someone who leans more towards the carnivore side of it, so like going in a spectrum here, vegetarian, balanced, and then carnivore, that's not necessarily the worst thing that you can do. However, it needs to be something that you can follow as well as something that you can make sure your caloric intake is correct. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can do this with a caloric intake. You can look it up. I'm not going to go over that. It's a whole different episode if I tried to go over those. However, the one thing I want to make sure that you guys know of is that nutrition isn't complicated once you find the plan that works for you. However, the plan that works for you is different from the plan that works for me or the plan that may work for someone else. Find the plan that works for you, attack your nutrition goals, do the best you possibly can eating those green light and yellow light foods. Stay away from that red light, try not to run it very often, and you'll be doing great. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button below if you want more content like this, as we will be uploading more videos on Mondays and Wednesdays of each week. I'll see you guys in the next episode.